What's going on, guys? JayeDeBlack here. Shout out to everybody that's tuning in. Make sure y'all like this video, hype this video, and share this video. I'm going to talk about Taraji P. Henson. I came across a video, and I may try to put the clip at the beginning. I believe she was being interviewed, and she talked about how she does not want to deal with unhealed men, right? She talks, I guess she's speaking on the fact that she's single, and she's been single for a while. I think her last public, seemingly serious relationship was over 6 years ago, 6 or 7 years ago, when she was engaged to former NFL player Kelvin Hayden. And she hasn't really been with anybody publicly since that time. Now we're going to go over some of her dating history and the men that she's been connected to. But I want to get to the root of Taraji P. Henson, because she seems to be a woman who is very troubled. This is the same woman who said that she was going to leave America and move elsewhere. To this point, she hasn't moved anywhere else. If you look at Taraji P. Henson's background and especially her son's father, you look into the things that she said about that relationship and what happened to her son's father, you see why she might be in the condition mentally where she's at when it comes to relationships. Because I don't think that she's met a man since that she's loved, even though she was in an on and off again relationship. There was issues there. But ever since then, and what happened to her son's father, y'all can look it up. I'm not going to speak about it here. But it was a tragedy. He lost his life right when her career was starting. This was right around the time Baby Boy, I believe, was getting started. Or might have been before that time, when her career was starting to move forward as an actress. And then when you look at the relationships she's had over the years since that tragedy, since becoming famous, it lets you know that she hasn't met a man yet that she's ever really loved. And maybe the man that she loved isn't here anymore, which is why she's talking about unhealed men. But women have to choose better. I think women do a poor job of identifying men who are stable mind and spirit. Women understand men as far as the type of man. Now, they may not understand men as in a man's habits and what men, their belief systems and who they are. I think women see the best and worst in men, and they choose the worst in men. They see the wrong things in men instead of the right things, which is why you have women like Taraji, who gets into these dead-end relationships constantly, to the point to where she's dealing with things mentally. She's talking about leaving the country. Her struggling to be able to find love, which I don't think is hard to find. Yes, she's famous, but hasn't stopped other famous women from getting into long-term relationships or marriages. It just depends on what you're looking for. What are you looking for? Are you looking for the same things in men that was in your ex? Because that's what women do a lot. They look for their qualities that their ex had in other men, and it's never there. And I think Taraji's somebody who is in denial about that. She's talking about how men are unhealed, and she doesn't want to deal with a woman's unhealed son. See, that's the problem. That's why children need both parents, because when you have both parents in your life, you can bring up a more stable-minded man or female. But if you're dealing with a woman's unhealed son, it's because he doesn't have both parents. I think Taraji's one of those women who it's everybody else's fault but hers. But I think that if she was to be honest, she'd see that it's what she's looking for in men. She's looking for qualities in men that just aren't there because she's looking for her ex in those men. I just wish she understand this. She's the one who's unhealed. She's the one who's refusing to get the help that she needs. because she's the one who has trauma. She's the one that dealt with issues early in her life with her relationship with her son's father. And it just has not been able to work ever since. So let's go over some of these relationships she had. It says back in, and this according to an article from Bustle, so back in 2002, she dated actor Hill Harper. Now, this information was revealed in a 2016 interview. And he talked about how they dated for a couple of years, but he wasn't ready to commit. But he had no regrets about the relationship that he had with Taraji. Right? And this is a quote from him. He says, just because you're in a healthy, great relationship that ends doesn't mean it wasn't successful or it was a failure, he has said. Not all relationships are meant to end in marriage. Let's move on to 2005. There was reports that Common and her were dating, but nobody, for years would admit to it. Well, in a 2011 interview, or in 2011, she confirmed the relationship, on Wendy Williams, because there were rumors about who she was dating. There were rumors that she was dating Drake, Tyrese, and Terrence Howard. And she told Wendy Williams this. She says, okay, I'll tell you the truth. It says Common and her did date. That's what she told Wendy Williams in 2011. 2009, it was put out there that she had dated Lamar Odom. But this wasn't confirmed until 10 years later. Lamar Odom said in an interview that he met and hit it off with Henson at an HBO party. He said, I really, really, really started liking her. The actor soon motivated Odom to become a better player. Now, he said this. He said, I used to carry her picture on the road with me. Nobody knew that. She gave me inspiration. A black woman working like that, who just as good at her craft as I'm good at my craft. All right. Now, Odom took responsibility for the breakup, admitting that he left Henson for Khloe Kardashian. So he left her to be with Khloe. I'm pretty sure that had to sting. It did. Now, again, this was all around 2009 when he was with the Lakers. He wanted to be with a Kardashian. He wanted to be a part of that weird crowd. And that's what happened here. Now, this is another quote here. It says, things ended with Taraji because, this is according to him, things ended because of me being an immature punk, he said. I didn't know how to tell her that I was falling in love with another woman called Khloe Kardashian. He went on to call his relationship with Henson the most significant relationship he's had with a black woman, because I just wish I would have done things different with her. She was a little older than me, but I learned a lot from her. That was this was his perspective in 2019 from the relationship that they had, I believe, in 2009. Now, let's move on to 2017. Taraji starts dating former NFL player Kelvin Hayden. And during an interview in that same year is what she put it out there, right? At this point, the couple had already been together for 2 years. Finally, it has happened to her, she said. I'm not the type to blast my personal business, but I think that it's important for people to know that she's happy. She's very, very happy. Says they've been together for 2 years. Now, you do the numbers. She did this interview in 2017 and said that for 2 years, she had been dating Kelvin Hayden. So they may have been started dating in 2015. In 2018, Henson had announced that she had got engaged to Hayden over Mother's Day weekend and received double the gifts. The Hidden Figures star shared the news by posting a photo of her engagement ring alongside a plate of desserts that read, "Congratulations." She said yes, y'all, she wrote. Oh, yeah, she said yes, y'all. So he started with the Cartier love bracelet, but that was her Mother's Day gift, and then he dropped to his knee and she almost passed out. In an interview with Entertainment Tonight that same month, Henson described the proposal and said that she was totally caught off guard by the surprise. He takes her where they had their first date. Says she didn't put that together. She admitted she didn't put it together until they went into the party room after they ate and she saw a violinist, because he was trying to say that it was his friend's birthday. But as she's putting the dots together, she turned around and he's on his knee, and then the river of tears just started and lashes ended up on the floor. Now, fast forward from 2018 to 2020. 2 years after getting engaged, Henson was full speed ahead on wedding plans until COVID hit. In an April interview with ET, the actor revealed that her ceremony was originally scheduled to take place in June of 2020 before confirming that everything was halted due to the pandemic. She particularly concerned about choosing a date without knowing if it would be safe to gather with loved ones by then. It's a mess, she said. COVID did that. I think COVID was the ultimate excuse not to get married. If you had the date planned for that year and this happened, a lot of relationships ended that year, by the way. A lot of engagements too. At that point, Henson and Hayden were leaning towards doing an outdoor celebration for their closest family friends. It's probably going to be a backyard wedding, which they could have done, right? A lot of people were outside during COVID. Even for events, they would be outside. It would break, she said it would break her mother's heart. After all these years, she had been wanting to see her get married, and it's got to be virtually. Instead of going forward with their backyard nuptials, Henson announced in October that their engagement had ended. Says she haven't said it yet, but it didn't work out. She revealed in an interview with The Breakfast Club, although she didn't confirm when they split, the actor said that they went to couples therapy before calling it quits. She says she tried. She was like, therapy, let's do the therapy thing. But if you're both not on the same page with that, then you feel like you're taking it on yourself. She said, when one person is taking on the weight of the entire relationship, it's never going to work. As she always does, Henson has kept any new developments about her love life to herself since her engagement ended. So even if she is dating around now, fans probably won't know until she and her significant other are ready to share that with the world. And as of right now, she hasn't been with anybody. Now, that article was in 2020. And she still ain't got with nobody. And she's going on interviews talking about unhealed men. Well, I hope Taraji is healed. I hope she gets the help that she needs, because she's struggling. And I did a video a couple years ago about her saying that she's struggling financially. And I just think that she says that she carries the weight of these relationships. But, women never talk about her faults. When looking at what's going on with Taraji, okay, unless I missed something, right? She never has talked about her faults in a relationship. And women never do. That's why they're never able to find happiness in relationships. It's always the men aren't doing this, the men aren't doing that. You need to fix your unhealed son. What about you, Taraji? You're unhealed. You have certain traumas you haven't been able to work through. All the weight of relationships and the accountability always seems to fall with the men in these situations. And it's become very frustrating. It shouldn't be the men who are constantly having to carry the brunt of keeping the relationships together. But that's how it always is. She says, especially in the Kelvin Hayden relationship, she felt like towards the end, she was carrying more of the weight. It was probably because Kelvin maybe in some way had already told her he didn't want to get married. And she was pushing for it. And that's why it looked like, according to her, he may have been pulling away. That's why she wanted to go to therapy. But also, hopefully, when she's going to therapy, hope she's going to therapy now, and she gets to another relationship and wants to go to couples therapy, she needs to talk about her faults in a relationship. Don't always put everything on the man as if it's his responsibility to always have to carry the load of the relationship and the accountability on itself. So let me know in the comment section below. Let me know your thoughts. Like this video and share it. Hype this video as well. Make sure y'all follow me on all my social media platforms. Link are in the description box, and I'll see y'all next one.